Now let's go to manage, then go to project units, set the units in centimeters, all of them for both the length and the distances. And after that, you click OK, and we are set. Now let's add our CAD drawing using the insert. This time I'm going to add the ground floor. Use center to center, and then you have to preserve the colors. Actually, every setting in here is going to remain the same. Then click open, and this is our ground floor CAD inserted. With this one, we need to pin it so that it will not move from its position. Now let's go to view, then go to visibility graphics. This time I'm going to make it half tone to just avoid disturbance. It has to have the graphics, which is a little bit grayed out. Now I'm going to go to level 1, and this time I'm going to turn off the underlay. I don't want to see the level 0. Go to insert again. I'm going to link the first flow. Use the same settings, open, and our first flow is placed now. Now I'm going to use underlay to kind of adjust the levels. The floors have to be aligned from the ground floor to the first floor. Now I'm going to select this one. I'm going to take this corner, move it, and place it at the corner of the ground floor. And now we are set. Now I'm going to disable the underlay, and I selected this one, pin it in position, then go to view again and go to visibility graphics. I will also make it halftone. Hit OK. Now we are set. Both the ground floor and the first floor are now linked. Now let's go to the south elevation. I'm going to set the heights in here and also add some namings. I'm going to call this one ground floor. If I click OK, it will give me a warning to rename the corresponding views, something that I'm going to accept. And now you can see in the floor plan the name has been updated. This one I'm going to name it first floor. This is actually the foundation. I'm going to put this down at minus 120. this time I'm actually choosing to rename the same floor in the floor plan there in the views, and you can see now the changes are updated here on the elevations. Now I'm going to change the position of this by adding -100, and this level is going to automatically go down. I'm going to add -120, and this is its position now. Now I'm going to add another level. Let me cancel this for now. I don't want to save. I'm not worrying about the heights for now because I can always set them. I would like to start from here to that other position, and this one I'm going to name it first floor. Click OK, then rename corresponding views. The heights is going to be 300 like usual. And now we have the ground floor and the first floor. Let's add another level. Just align it with this one and follow the guides. I'm going to rename this one in second floor. Rename corresponding views, click yes. You can actually if I right click and create similar, I can now use pick line, add an offset of 80 centimeters to just place the level for the upper parapet. I will rename this one upper parapet. And rename the corresponding views. Since this level is kind of close, so close together, I'm going to readjust it to make a little bit of separation, but also a little bit of aesthetic. I am going to stretch a little bit now. Now I'm going to go to the foundation flow. And I'm going to hide some levels to avoid disturbances. And now what I'm going to do is to copy this level and paste it to the corresponding views. Paste it on the first flow, and then I will hide it in view. When I go to the ground floor, I can see now I have the first floor is here. Ground floor is perfect. First floor is also perfect. And now what I am going to do is to pin it in position similar to that one. Now I'm going to go to the underlay. Let me switch to the ground floor and see what is going to happen. I can see they are still aligned, which is perfect. And the next thing that I am going to do is to, let me uncheck the underlay a little bit, then go to visibility graphics again, import the card, halftone, apply, and this is how I wanted it to look like. Now we have the ground floor, we have the first floor set. Now the next step is going to be adding the grids using the reference grid from CAD file here. You can see this is start with level grid 7, and I'm going to rename this one level grid 1. I'm gonna stretch this a little bit up, and add more levels, more grids, sorry. And now I'm going to also add the horizontal grids starting from this position, and rename this into A. Let me type in A, continue, like this, and finally this one. These are now our levels. Let's go to the south elevation and adjust levels in proportion to the grids. And now we are ready to get started with our modeling process. Let's now go to architecture and then go to walls. I'm going to choose the foundation wall, and I'm going to choose, this is the foundation, like the base. Now it's unconnected, and it's going to be 100, and now it's going to be chained method, and wall center line is going to be the location line. Now I'm going to start from this point here, following the grids, and I will start placing the foundation walls. This is the first one, and place another foundation wall on this area here. Go for all the walls. Columns, I'm gonna put the same. I know this is not the perfect way of doing this, but it's something that we can do. Let's preview it in 3D, and this is what we have done. Let me go back to the foundation, and now I'm going to hide this in view because I do no longer need that reference. Now I'm going to go to the ground floor, and I am going to start placing the exterior walls. Let me go to wall. This time I'm going to choose the stack wall. This wall is part of my template. This is a stack wall with 20 centimeters of thickness. I'm going to choose ground floor. I'm going to make it connected to the first floor. Remove this offset. Use the wall center line, and we are good to go now. I will use the similar method, following the grid lines. And go over the wall using the center of the grids. Note that I'm first of all working with the exterior walls, then I'm going to work with interior walls after. Now let me go to wall again. This time I'm going to choose a stack wall, but this time this is going to be 150 centimeters. This is the interior wall. Now I will still go over the reference lines following the grid lines. Cancel to finish, and go to another wall. Let me start from this position here. I'm always following the center line. Click this way, and then go connect it to the other wall to make the bathroom. I'll replace this wall that separates the living room from the closet, and this wall will act as the support for the staircase. All right. I'll go back to, I'm not actually going to place this wall here. I'm going to cancel and go to select this wall, create similar, and I'm going to create this wall here. Cancel twice to finish, and use modify, pick this wall and adjust it like this. I'm going to stretch it like this. These are all different types of modifying the walls. Here I'm still going to use the modify and align these walls like this. Cancel tries to finish. Now for these ducts, I'm going to go back to architecture and choose the smallest wall that I am going to use. I'm going to use the HD wall 70 centimeters and start placing this one here. You can see this is not the center of the grid line, and it is going to be a little bit trickier, but you can still manage following what I'm doing. If you want this CAD plan, you can download it on the website and be able to follow along what I'm doing. I'm making a little bit of adjustments here, and when I preview in the 3D, now we can see what we have done here. It is quite of a challenge on our ducts here, but this is something I am sure we will fix later. Let me continue and lay out all the ducts using this particular wall. Okay, and lastly place this one also. Follow the guidelines. All right. Now this is what we have created in the 3D. Go back to the ground floor. There is some issues with the alignments here, and I'm going to try to fix it like this using the align tool, like this, like this, like that. This is quite good. Let me do the same here. All right, I think we are done. 3D, and this is what we have. I'm going to go to the first floor, and I'm going to start with the upper floor. I'm going to use, this time I'm not going to use a stack wall. It's going to be same thickness, but it's a basic wall, not a stack wall. I'm going to connect it to level 3, and the settings are going to remain the same. Now I am going to use the grid line center. So this time I'm going along the grids. Revit itself guides you. It shows the center guidelines, which are easy to follow. It's really handy, and it is something really cool to follow along. We're now done with the exterior wall for the first floor. Now I am going to go to the interior walls. The thickness of this wall is 150. Use the same technique to add these walls. extend it all the way up to there, and I'm going to just draw all the interior walls using the similar technique. Please let me know what you think of this technique. Is it time saving? What do you think? For all the Revit users out here, please comment in the comment section below. Let us know what you think. Is it something that is adding some value on your Revit skills, or it's something that we need to really rethink on? This is how I just do it. Please let me know what you think about it. Going to do it again. I might even use the same technique, but I think it's better to go down to the ground floor and copy all these walls and then paste to the aligned levels. This is going to be much more quick and easier. This time I'm going to place it on the first floor. Click the first floor and hit OK. I'm going to preview in 3D and see what we have done really. Okay, it starts to take shape and it really starts to look nice. I think you don't worry about these lines because these are some things we are going to fix later. Now, for this area here, I think I made a little bit of a mistake in the card because there is no way this structure is going to be done if we don't put a structural wall in here. Okay, I think this is it. Now I'm going to the upper parapet and I'm going to pick this wall, the similar settings from the first floor, copy it from the clipboard and align it with the selected views. Then I will place it on the upper parapet. Preview it in 3D and see what we have done. Now you can see that it automatically aligns or it extends to the upper parapet. Okay, this time it's not really extended to the upper parapet. So I'm going to go down to the second floor and select all of it, and I want to connect it to the upper parapet here. Okay, the problem was this offset. I'm going to put it to 0, apply, and here we go. This is what we wanted. Now let me go to the second floor, activate the underlay. I'm going to activate the first floor, and that's trying to observe what's underneath the floor. And now I'm going to split. No, I'm not going to split with a gap. I'm going to split this way, and no, I don't think this is what I'm going to use. I'm actually going to take this one. No, if I move, okay, now I can be able to move when I kind of separated it from the beginning. Now I'm going to align it with this duct and Conceptual to finish. And what I'm going to do is to create a similar and add a connection here. Conceptual, align this to this position. Now I'm going to align this sword to this position here. And this is what we have now. Okay. Let me go to the first floor. And go to the architecture and choose the flow. I am going to use I'm actually going to use the timber flow, and I am going to use the I'm actually going to use the pick line and pick the exterior side. No, this time I'm actually going to use the interior side of the walls. Pick all the interior sides like this. I'm going to use trim and extend. I will need a little bit of adjustment on this one here. And this one I think I am going to delete it because I do no longer need it. Now I'm going to make some other adjustments in here. This one here, and this one to that one. Now I'm going to delete this interior line, and I think we are now set. Hit OK. I will say do not attach. Preview in 3D. Now this is what we have done. you can see this slab is going to cover even the parking. Now let me go back to the flow and use the pick line tool. Do the same for the second flow. And that is it. Now I'm going to use trim and extend. Here I'm missing a line. I'm going to pick this one. Actually, it's going to be, now let's use trim and extend. No, this line has to be in the inside. Okay, this is what we have to do. That's correct. Now I think we're done. Don't attach, preview in the 3D, and this is what we have done. Now we can see that the walls are not attached with the flow, and this is something we can fix later. Now let me go to the flow again. This time I'm on the ground flow. I'm going to add the base flow. I can still use pick line. Pick all the layout of the CAD layout. I am actually going to include the garage, and I'm always I think this. All right, trim and extend, and this one here I'm going to add one more line, and this is it. So I will trim and extend, and now that's it. That's great. Now I think we remain with the slab for our garage, and I will go back to the ground flow, and what I'm going to do is to place the flow for our garage. Use the same flow, but this time I'm going to put an offset of 15 below the ground. I'm going to pick the exterior edges of the wall and pick the grids, and now I think I'm going to use the trim and extend. But before I do that, I think I still need to add up some more lines. Now go to trim and extend, pick this line and that one, trim and extend, and finally I'm going to use this line and pick the other line. I think I have made a little bit of mistake here. What I'm going to do is to pick, I don't actually need this. Okay, this is what I'm going to do, and there's line overlap. I'm going to delete that one. Okay, so now hit OK to finish, and when I preview in 3D, I can now see what I was